everybody, and welcome to Behind the Curtain with Ade and Ram. Today we have a very special guest, Maram al-Masri.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You pronounce it very nice.
Oh, thank you. I've been trying to make sure that, especially some of the translations.
You pronounce it very good.
Thank you.
I like my name when it's pronounced, yes, nicely, like this. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so I was just saying to Maram that this came by chance, just a connection. I saw Maram's poetry, and it really inspired me. So beginning a year ago, I got in contact, and it's taken this time. So thank you very much, Maram, for coming onto the show.
Thank you to have this patience and to invite me again after 1 year. Thank you so much.
I'm just going to read a short bio, Maram, that I got from your Amazon, and I thought I'll read it out to introduce you.
Mm-hmm.
Maram al-Masri is from Latakia in Syria, now settled in Paris.
Yes.
She studied English literature at Damascus University before starting publishing her poetry in Arab magazines in the 1970s. Today, she is considered one of the most renowned and captivating feminine voices of her generation. Thus far, her work has been translated into 8 languages. Maram al-Masri has been awarded the Adonis Prize of the Lebanese Cultural Forum for the best creative work in Arabic in 1998. Her poetry collections include Kara Humra, Red Cherry on White Floor, and Unha Layak. I Look at You. Please excuse me that I'm not butchering the language, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Indeed, I'm translated more than 19 languages. And it is really a miracle. You know, if I count it, it's about 19, not only 8, but maybe the major language like English, Spanish, and Italian. But when I count it, it's about 19 languages with books and review, etc. And that is great.
Wow. Who does the? I notice when reading some of the poems on social media, on Facebook, there's a translation. Do you do that translation, or does someone translate it?
In French, I begin to translate word by word and give it to my translator, who put it in good French. Now I translated almost writing the poem in French and in Arabic. So it is kind of, I said, it's like to be pregnant with two babies, and you don't know which one will go out. So sometimes I write it in French, then I translate it to Arabic. Sometimes I write it in Arabic and translate it into French.
Mm.
So it's me who do the both job.
Okay.
But the other language, no. I have Khalid Mutawa for in English, for Cerise Rouge, for Karaza Hamra, Red Cherry, and I Look at You. So it was Khalid Mutawa and Blood Ducks books, and then it has been translated into American. It has been published with Copper Canyon Press. And now I have my lovely translator, Theo Durgan, who has translated to me The Abduction. He has translated Liberty Walked Naked and The Soul Peer-Feated, that about the violence has committed for the women, etc.
Mm.
So I have translated in the other language. Sometimes it's I can understand what they do. Sometimes Theo sent me his translator and said, are you okay? Do you think it's good? I said, yes. But in the other language like Hindi, Bengali, Chinese, Malti, I don't understand. So I have all my trust in the translator because I translate other people. And I know when we translate, we are in love. And when we are in love, maybe sometimes we do mistake. But when the love is behind, it's always great. So I don't care if my translation was good or bad, but I love that people has given me their time to translate me.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I love what you said there about being pregnant with 2 babies, and it can come out in either form.
Yeah, because it is the truth, you know. I think what is really the first qualification of my poetry. It is so attached to my life. I write what I feel. I write what I live. So it is so true and so simple and so honest. That's maybe the thing that most important in my work. I don't write about philosophy, about culture. I write about people, human, and about love and about liberty and something which don't need a lot of intellectual background.
And when did you start writing poetry?
I start when I fallen in love. I was about 16, 17 years old, and I fell in love with a Christian boy, and I'm Muslim. So for Syria, for the Arab world, it's not so good to be in love. So, and if you are in love with a Christian, that means you are such a horn. So it was my first revolution. And the second revolution when I write poetry. So I write him poetry to tell him and to tell the world that love is bigger than religions and bigger than tradition and bigger than even life. And I think without my brother who has published me and who has such kind generosity to make me like trees, to give me his sun, his water to make poetry, I think I will not be here, you know, because he was a great poet and his friend who also is a great poet. So when they read my poetry, they said, "Oh, she's a miracle." And I was so young, and I wrote something that doesn't look like the others Arab writing. It was so short, so sharp, so maybe against the religions, very humor, lot of humor. And my first book, I threaten you with white dove. They receive it like a big revolution in the poetry, women's poetry, Arabic. Excuse me, because I speak all the time in French. It is so hard to speak English too. So it was like this, and then I immigrate to Paris, and I have a tragedy in my life that I couldn't go back to Syria. So my brother has collected all my poems and make this book, Written You, and he told me, you are a poet and you have a responsibility to be a poet is not something so ordinary. You have to be conscious that you are responsible about the poetry that you write. It was, I think, in the time I was so sad because the tragedy was that my little boy who has 18 months has been kidnapping from me. About 13 years I didn't see him. So it was a wind that it will never, I think, until now, it will never be a cure. So I write about it at the end, about the book that names The Abduction. It was it is the story about this kidnapping of this small boy. He's now about 35 years old. But I think the boy of 18 months, I will never see again.
Are you in contact with your son, or?
Yeah. Now I said he when he come back to Paris, and but it was hard to start the relationship with him because I wasn't in his construction, sentimental and emotional construction. I was so far away, and they told him a lot of bad things about me. So I think in the book there is a poem. He said to me, "Do you afraid to love me?" Like, how can I be afraid? And then I said yes. And he said to me, "Me too." So it isn't easy to love, because when you start the relationship of loving somebody, you have to take care about it. And I was so far away from him, and he was so far away from me. So how can I deal with it? So both of us were afraid to love each other. And now I think things is getting better, and he is a father, and I think he loves me. So yeah, I write about my life. I write about the life of others. I write about, but I think that it's good to know, because the poet, I think he has this idea that his point of view of the things, they are so important. So that's why we write. That's why we give what we write to others. Sometimes I'm so astonished that people said I write to myself. I think maybe we write to ourselves, but me, I write for the others.
What is your write-in process like? Do you just have an idea or an inspiration, or is it something that you have a routine and you just sit down a certain time and write?
I said when we was young, we write because we are crying, and now I cry because I don't write. That means it is not so easy to write. It is not so normal to write. It is an act of volunteer to decide to have to sit down, and you have your computer or your stereo, and to start something. Now I have ideas, and I have a theme, and I have for example, my last book is about the metro. What happened in the metro in Paris.
Mm.
So all the things that happened to me, the rencontre, the meeting with other people, the observation, what happened, how people act, how people think, how people dress. So it was an idea for 2 years. I think every time I enter the metro, subway, the metro,
Yeah.
I think that I have my video camera video, and I register everything that has. Yeah, I look at people. I'm so curious to find, to see people, how they wear, how they move, how they eat. And lately, 2 days ago, I was in the bus, and a very elegant man, and very clean, and but in his treasure, I think he's old, and his treasure is eaten by the by this insect that eats the wall. What is it?
Oh, termites?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a lot, and I see his sleep was white and beneath it. So I said, because old people don't buy anymore new clothes, so they have this one. So I was so touched to see this, and because sometimes old people are dirty. They don't have, they don't clean their hair. Their hair. They don't clean their clothes, their shoes. But he was really so clean, and he smelled good. But his treasure was all eaten by the meat. So the small things like this.
Mm.
Yes, as you know, old people don't buy any more new clothes because they said we will die.
Mm.
So when my book will be translated into English, I will send you a copy.
Thank you.
Do you have a book in English? Do you have all my book in English?
No.
One guilty.
If you can get me books, that would be wonderful.
I wanted to read one of your poems here that I really loved. It's very short, and
which one?
It's called. So it's from "She Walks Naked," Freedom.
Yeah.
And I know the translation might not. I don't know if it captures the essence, but I think in this one, it really did for me. I don't know about for you, but I'll read it. On a school wall, the word freedom was written with white chalk by the little hands of school children. On the wall of history, freedom wrote their names with blood.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
It's a real event. The revolution, Syrian revolution, has started with this. It was small children in the school who wrote liberty and the world like this on the wall of their school. And those students, about maybe 11 and 12 years old, has been captured and has been tortured and has been taken their uncle, and they were thrown naked in front of their family. So in Daraa, and all the city has wake up and going to manifestation, and that was the first day of the Syrian revolution. This book has all what I wrote. It was captured from the multimedia. It was captured by the events and by video, by photos, and I tried to translate it into poems. Because I thought that maybe poetry is much more eternal than photos. And I tried through this to make a kind of history, a kind of line of story about the revolution, making sometime numbers to say how many Syrian has been killed, how many children has been killed, how many women has been in a prison, tortured, and so I tried to make a kind of documentary in a book of poetry.
Yeah, that poem's very, very powerful. And I did watch. I'm guessing this was probably around the same time you were part of the Arab Summer Project. There was this, the video, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, I really enjoyed that too. With the you were in a few videos. I was searching for something with subtitles, which was hard to find, but
didn't find.
No, it was hard to find with English subtitles. But there was also the video, which I really enjoyed, and this is like, it's called Faces, I think.
Yeah.
Wow,
Faces.
It
was good.
The marriage of the poetry and the music, even not knowing exactly what was being said.
I send it to you in English because they have it translated. There is sub translation in English. In Italian also, I will send it to you.
Okay,
thank you.
It's really a great musician. Yeah, it's really, I am so grateful for those musicians who has selected me to do this performance. It's about 1 hour and 1 hour and a half of poetry and music. Not only this one, there's a lot others about. It is very. We have performed in the Philharmonie of Paris. The great Philharmonie, and it was full, a lot of people. It is really great.
Yeah, and how much of the way is that something that came naturally to you to be able to to express the poetry in that way, other than writing it, to speak it? Was that something that came easily, or?
It came really easy. Maybe because I love jazz, and so I remember the musician said to me, "You are a jazzy poet." Maybe because I dance, because I have some rhythm in my body. In Syria, I grown up with Bob Dylan, with Leonard Cohen, with jazz, with all this the European and Occidental culture. I never heard a singer, Arab singer, or I never heard classic Arabic music. I was really in Europe before I came to Europe. So when I remember, because one day they give my name to Nobel. Some people here thought that I can have Nobel. So it was Bob Dylan who has it, and people said to me, "Are you sad because Bob Dylan has taken, not you?" I said, "No, at all, because he's my father." So I'm so happy because that means I have something from him, So I think I'm full of all those wonderful writers, and I think they are poets like Leonard Cohen, like Bob Dylan, like John Baez, like Beatles, like all those people who make us understand the world other way that it could be.
It's extraordinary how listening to a piece of music, a poem, you can really understand something else which is going on. A writer allows you inside into another world, and you can learn about things in different places and in different times.
Yeah. I think music and poetry are so good together. The music, I think it's the best way to make poetry arrive to the heart, and because there's something so instinctive maybe in the music that make the word much more important. Sometimes some songs they don't have a lot of good poems, but they make the music make the word has which are things much more important than if you read it like this. You agree with me, no?
Yeah.
I think it. I can read. I think to read poetry is to make love with the word, and to make the other feel that's joy to hear me and to hear the poems. I think it is. I never worked for it. It was like something in me to deliver, to give what I have, and the most a beautiful way. When I met children and the students of all ages, I feel I have such love to give them, and I think they receive me when I read my poetry. They receive what I want to give, and they receive it with joy and sensibility. I will tell you something that I received. I said I when I was in school with the children about 9 years old, I said, "Do you know that your mother if your mother was poet?" So they were so not so easy with it. I said, "Why?" He said, "Because when she writes poetry, she will not prepare our food, and she will not do fried potatoes, and she will write poetry." And so I said, what's your mother do in life?" And the boy was so shy. He said, "She is house cleaner." So I said to him, "The poet also, me also. I am house cleaner. I am world cleaner, because the poet wants to clean the world, to make it beautiful. He tried to get off the poussière, the dust. He tried he opened the wall, the window to make the sun enter. So the poet are the cleaner of the world. I am a cleaner of the world. So he was so happy because he find something that. So every time I met somebody, it was a lawyer. I said, "What do you do in life?" She said, "Lawyer." "And you?" I said, "Me too." because I defend women, I defend children, I defend people, I defend the world. So I am lawyer, and then translator, and I am everything. Poets are everything because they want to make the world better. Excuse me for my English.
No, it's fine.
It's perfect. What you just said there reminds me, I haven't memorized it exactly, but one of your poems was when the drops form, when two drops form the wave and it cleans the coast. I think it cleans the coast. And they come together, and when then two come together and it starts to, it clears the coast.
It's for maybe the poem about my son, no? I said it was about my son because I think it was a poem about the letter of a Arab mother to her children, no?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so. It was this.
And what you just said there about, we are the housewife, we are the lawyer, we are anything. It really, from that perspective, it really changes how we look at ourselves.
If I understand good, I think a poet had the responsibility of the word. It isn't easy. It isn't normal to be a poet because I think it's like a doctor. When you go to the operated somebody, you have to clean yourself. You have to clean your hand and then you operate. And poet also, we have to work in ourselves and to make it better, to make ourselves with harmony, as we said. Sometimes the poetry oblige me to be like the poetry asks me to do. When I write a poem and I find it is a lot of purity, a lot of honestly. So I have to be honest. I have to be pure. I have to be noble to worth the poem that I write. I don't know if I can give you this idea. I work on my soul. I work to purify me from jealousy, from envy, from all of bad feeling, and I try to make myself better, to be willing to receive such a good and nice gift to write poetry. Because every time I write, I know that somebody will read it, and it has to be good to read it, because this poem will maybe change something from his life. Maybe we'll give him a smile, maybe we'll give him tears, but it's something that will enter in his soul, and it has to be good.
Yeah. So it sounds like what you do is from reading your poetry, and I can feel it. There is this essence that's there, that's sort of underneath even the words, and it feels to me that that's comes from like your soul, the work that you've done on yourself and what you're describing right now. And the other thing I thought that was really interesting and I enjoyed that you captured a lot of the paradox in life, the
Yeah,
contrast, um,
yeah.
that it's not so black and white or good and bad, that there
No,
is
no.
this, yeah.
Because poetry is the one who had the right to tell our defiance, our weakness, and it is the one who show our beauty.
Hmm.
It is he had the right to because the poetry, it's a kind of analyzing ourselves, I think. So sometimes you can understand a lot of things about the other through the poem. That's why I think they try to make children write something about their life. When I work with an immigration with women, and I give them some phrase, some sentence to write some poems, and suddenly they cry.
Hmm.
There's time women are writing like this, and I swear to you, maybe it's the first time she took a pencil and she writes. So it's something as if they open as if the poetry is open their heart and their soul and make it flow like a magma.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's great. Even their poem, what they write, it's not a real poetry, but it's a real suffering, a real desire, a real hoping.
Hmm. It's like that description you talked about when you said that you're also the house cleaner
Yeah,
and opening the letting the sunlight in.
yeah,
um Sometimes we see some of the things that we didn't see before and therefore feel these things, the emotions and everything that
that's true. That's
yeah.
true. It's as if we snake in the ocean, and every time we go deeper and deeper, and we discover sometimes ourselves.
Hmm.
Sometimes I write a poem, and I said, "Oh my God, do I write it?" I swear to you, sometimes when I'm past the
Okay.
time, I said, how how I write to write this?
Hmm.
Can I now do the same things? it's, it's strange. It's strange.
So when you say, "Can I now do the same things?" Is it, can I um, sort of live up to what I've expressed in the poetry?
Yeah,
Well, that's really interesting. I wonder, because you're um, thinking about it in that way. It's like taking that extra step to bring it into your life
yeah,
as
that's
well.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And uh, how can I say that I'm the mother of all the children of the world if I'm not a good mother?
Hmm.
It couldn't be. It couldn't be. If I see a boy, I really feel this relation of motherhood when I'm working with the children. I feel this motherhood because I said maybe the kidnapping of my small boy, I suffered a lot, but it gave me this conscious that the others children of the other woman, they are our children too. So when I wrote also the letter of a mother, Arab mother, to her son, because my son has been in Syria when the revolution has started. And for a week, I have no news about him. And when he answered to me, I was so happy that he's alive, because there's a lot of young men has been died. So I said to him, has you gone with them? Has you manifested and go on the street? He said to me, yes. Instead of being worried, he was happy. I was happy that he had the conscience of their liberty.
Mm.
And I was happy. I couldn't tell her, no, don't go. Because why I kept my children safe in the moment that the other children of the other women are in the street. So I think we oblige also ourselves to be good. To be good is not only natural. The nature give us some bad character also. But I think when you are a poet, you have to work on yourself to be better.
Mm. And I wonder if those two parts, write in the poetry and what comes out of the poetry, you want to live up to those things and then implement it and working on yourself. That process also births other poetry as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that every time, every books, I feel that I get up.
Mm.
Every book, I'm going as if I'm walking the stair. Every book took me to the upper stairs until maybe, I don't know, maybe I will die. But it's sometimes it's serving, or it holds me up. Every book, I feel that my humanity is much more bigger.
Mm.
My humanity is much more pure. I start to write love poems, so intimated, so not selfish, but me, what inside me, because I don't know what is. I don't know a lot of things around. I have only me to watch. I wrote Red Cherry. It was a woman who lives in a house, and she detects every movement of her desire and of her deception, of her suffering. It was me, but maybe me, I'm also other woman. So I wrote, it was so intimate. And then smaller and smaller, I start to be for the world. So I wrote, I look at you, and the heroine of the book was prostituted, whore. So I wrote about her, and then I wrote about women in the center of violence. Their husband killed them. Then I was with him for 1 year, speaking, writing, and so I wrote Pure-Feated Soul, and then I wrote about poetry, and then I wrote. So every time I go upper and upper to speak about humanity, and then I came to the Syrian revolution. So I wrote about it. Sometimes people said, maybe why do you write about Syrian? You live in Paris from a long time, and maybe it isn't good to speak as if I I will use the revolution to give my name a light. It isn't good. It isn't true, because I think because I have name, I wrote about the revolution, because I know I am read and I have a lot of people who read me. That's why I wrote about revolution. It isn't not the other way. I wrote about revolution and I paid a lot. I cannot go back to Syria from 2008. I didn't see my family. And I think I will never go back because Assad is always there. And in the beginning, I was being threatened to be killed, etc., etc. And then now it's over. But poetry, you write poetry, but you know there is something else will happen. I lost my liberty to go back to Syria. And it's, for me, it's also horrible not to hold my brother in my arms, and not to see my sister, not see my town, and see my place when I have given the first kisses. So it is hard to feel that you are forbidden to go back to your country. Mm. We paid our poetry. Some of maybe other poets are in prisons, other writers are being killed. So it is not easy to write and to be poet. Hmm. Hello?
I think that the poet has this courage and bravery to really express themselves.
Yeah. I wish I can. Do you want me to read in Arabic? Can you write?
No? Yes, please. Yes.
For the poem that you have read in English for the war, على حيطان باحة لمدرسة كتبت كلمة الحرية بأصابع الطلاب الصغيرة. على جدار التاريخ كتبت الحرية أسماءهم بالدماء. It's the poem that you have read.
The one that I read?
Yeah.
Oh wow! Sounds much more beautiful when you say it. Yeah, and I can feel just your connection with it.
Well, until now, every time I read my poetry about Syria, I cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cry a lot. I don't know. It's hard to remember and to. I feel all the time that I open the wind. Mm-hmm. That is my heart. I open and I close. When I finish, I close, and for another reading, I open. So it will never be finished.
Yeah. And the opening of the heart is very important. It's the place where I think we can become more compassionate with each other and loving, rather than this protecting and defending, and closing ourselves off. And it seems like your poetry is a portal into that opening of the heart, that connection. You bring people into this world, and
it is. I think every poem is a drop of blood of my soul, and we can see also it's a smile of my soul. Every poem is like this.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that because it, with the heartbreak and the sadness that can come from opening the heart and really looking at some of the pain and suffering and things that are going on in the world and being a voice to that and noticing it within yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because we all have that. That also is a place of where profound joy and happiness and ecstasy lives as well.
It should be. You know, when the children write poetry, their mother took them to the psychologist and said, "My son writes poetry." That means, and suddenly night, I am alone. I think in his head, maybe he thought that to write poetry has to be so sad. So
Oh yeah.
nobody loved me. So the mother took him to the psycholog and said, "My son, he wrote poetry."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we all
it's
have
a kind of illness.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder why we tend to, especially when we're younger, we look at poetry that way in terms of the sadness or the loss of love, your first love, or you know, it usually comes out in these poetic expressions.
Yes, we thought more we are sad, more the poem is good.
Yeah.
No, I try to show them that poetry also joy. It is there's elegance, sadness, but it hasn't to be and tragic and and exaggerated sentiment. A very exaggerated sentiment is very bad poem. The poem has to be just. The justice of the poem is so important.
Yeah.
And the logic also.
Yeah.
My son write poetry. He's ill.
And I always, when I was reading your poems, is that you can read them one time, and then you read them next, and you get something different. And you read them another time, and you can get something different.
Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Yeah, I hope so. Even it's so direct and so easy to write, and not a lot of sophisticated written. But I think there's a lot of interpretation of a poem. It should be read 2, twice, 3 times too. And every time poems is like it's like a lover. Every time you saw him, every time you see that he's beautiful. Until that you don't see him beautiful, that you don't love him at all. No, the poem has to be also mysterious, even it's so clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said when I'm translated, I'm preparing a book for Kurdish women, and because I have done an anthology of Arabic women, and now I'm interested by the Kurdish because I think that the world look at them all only like a fighter with gun, and but they are poets, and their poetry are so erotic, sensual, and a lot of connection with the nature. I'm not so connected with the nature. They spoke about trees, about rivers, and so they are so interested. I'm so interested to translate them. Maybe not so good translator, but I think I do that with a lot of love. And I have a poem in Arabic because most of them write in Arabic. And one of the poems wasn't so good to translate. So I said to myself, maybe I will say that is not so good. Can I have another? But I felt shy. I said, who am I to give this judgment? She is a poet. I am also. So I cannot say it's a good poem. It's not bad poem, especially when I have to make service to translate. So only to say that I have lots of humble feeling and respect to other work and to other poetry. So that's give me this this idea that maybe the good poem is only for the, I don't know, the big poet in the world, but everyone has his poem, and every poem is worth to be read and to be translated. I'm so angry because I don't speak English.
No, that was perfectly clear, and yeah, and really resonated with me, especially you having that insight of who am I to judge, and how do we measure these things anyway? And the value is a matter of perspective, and yeah, I think every voice, every expression has value, and
even you can have your idea, but I can keep it for myself. I cannot. I cannot say, oh no, it's good, it's not good, etc. I only receive, and I receive, and I think that it's generous that people, even when they give you their worst poems, it is they give you something.
Yeah, and I think it really helps them too, because sometimes just sharing it, having that space to share that creativity with someone, especially in areas where there might not be a lot of support for that, for that creative expression.
Exactly. Now, the Arab women, I think maybe the others also, Indian or I don't know, Chinese, but those who has some hard condition of women, it isn't easy to publish poems, especially about love, about desire, etc. A lot of women give another name because their family doesn't want that their daughter write poem. And I think I can understand, when you are in a family so conservative, and you try to write about your desire, your erotic. It isn't very easy to
Yeah.
and to liberate yourself from it. It is a heroic action, I think, because you may lose your family. I know girls that their family don't speak with their long time ago. I know even in French woman who wrote a novel, and her husband told her, if you publish this novel, we will divorce. She
Wow.
published, and they divorced.
Hmm.
So because people feel when they so my divorce, also my second divorce, was also maybe because of poetry, because my second husband doesn't accepted this 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 nakedness, because Red Sherry, it is about a woman, a married woman who is in love, etc. And when you speak about desire, about your love, etc., it wasn't easy for him to accept it. And even when I divorced, his lawyer has given him the book, given the judge the book to tell him, look, this woman wasn't good. She wrote poetry, erotic poetry. And my poetry is erotic. But there's some poems which is, as said in the Times, London Times, they spoke about the book, and Michael Binion has said, I wonder if Maram can write the same things if she lives in Syria. And he said, I assure that a lot of European poets cannot write about this taboo as Maram has done. And so it was very good article, but in the meantime, it was as if he accused me that I put on fire all the taboo, all the sacrilege of the society about. So this book has been given to the judge, and the judge at last has said that the work of Madame is not compatible with the association of marriage in Paris, in France. It's not in the Arabic world. About 3 poems that the lawyer has so intelligent to put them in his document that the judge had read it. The poem was so short. I said, "Woman, come back to her home. She wash her body, but the accent of love still in it." So they considered it that as if I was adulterer, and I declare my sin, my guilty.
Wow.
Yes, poetry is so dangerous.
It is.
I didn't know that my poetry will be judged because of it. In Paris.
Well, yeah. I mean, that seems to be the case with any, if you're being revolutionary, which translates to, I would say, being more natural and authentic. But to some people, it's scary because you're going out of the box and you're saying things that people don't want to see, about themselves because they've been conditioned to think a certain way and to look at women a certain way and look at sex a certain way, and all of these things and judgments. So yeah, it takes a tremendous amount of courage to be able to express that way and to put it out there, and and to, you are going to at times get those attacks, and which is, I'm sure, difficult, and it must be exhausting at times. How do you deal with that? Do you have like a community of support, and like what do you do to deal with when things like that happen, when you feel like you are being attacked, or just
I cry, and then everything is good. I open the door and I put my smile, and I say hello to life. Sometimes I enter the metro and I said, I forget myself. I said to people, hello. I swear to you. So no, I love people, and I love life, and I think I have such love that is my motor, my essence that keep me good, keep me good looking, and I love when I walk in the street and a young man in his motor looking at me, and then he go to I say that is very nice. My friend said to me, he fell down. He said, yes. And he said, yes. And you smile. I said, it was nice. You look at me. So it's nice. And or sometimes or somebody who walk, follow you, and then when he arrived, he gave a small paper and said, "You are so beautiful." I said, "Thank you." So the others, I never felt the others are dangerous. I never felt that I'm attacked by people. I felt all what they give me is beautiful. And in the Facebook once I posted a photo because they took a poem and they put it in the bridge of Paris. It was a poem about I have a lips, you have a lips. I have a tongue, you have a tongue. I have saliva, you have saliva. What we missed to have a kiss. So this what missed to have a kiss has been put in the bridge of art in Paris. And when we put it, there's a man, an aesthete, a man without home, homeless, who walked, and he read it, and he said to me, "I give you a kiss." So how can I say no? I saw that he would smell very bad because he was so drunk. So I give him my face, and the photo is somebody who kissed me. But I swear to you, he has smelling so bad. But I give my kiss because I wrote this poem. And the other one, it was I was in Spain, and my children phoned me, "Mama, you have a surprise." I said, "Hello," and there's a man behind. "Hello," in Italian. He speak to me. I am etc. I can send you I can give you my rose, my flowers. I said, "What happened? He is my home. What? How can you dare to come to my home?" He said to me, "You said in your poem, I wait man who send me a flower, who bring me a flower." And he walked from Italy to Paris to give me
Oh,
his flower
wow.
because I said I want a man who give me a flower. So something like that happened, and yeah, it happened. Things happen.
Mm,
And
yeah.
this man, until now, sometime he wrote, he write to me, and sometime I answer, sometime I don't answer. From maybe 20 years, and
Wow.
I remember he walked. He don't have money. He's a small man. He don't have money. He walked from Italy until Paris only to give me a flower
Mm.
because I wrote in my poem, "What a way I with a man with a flower." So he said to me, "You are a liar. You said that in your book, and your book, you said in your poem, and you're a liar." Yeah. So I have to be careful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I think one of the things that came up for me when I was asking how do you deal with some of the negative, what one may call negative responses, is um, the love and the beauty that you get from life as it is,
yeah.
you know, and the noticing. It seems like you notice a lot of the details, and like
Yeah. I think that's what make me you. I am awake. I'm I, I'm the witness of life.
mm, yeah,
I just registered what life fulfill in others people behavior and wars and it's not easy to be poet and that, but it's but what I feel, that greatest feel that you have this power to detect and to register life. Yeah,
mm. It
I,
reminds me of how children notice the just they're in the moment and they notice all of the interesting things about life, and they'll look at one thing and just get very excited and want to learn about it and just be with it, and then they'll go to something else and yeah, the,
I don't think that my children love me like a poet. Even they said, "Mother, we are so proud of you," but I don't think that we mean it. I think they suffered that because I am a poet. They suffered of the woman that I am. It's a woman fragile and oriental, immigrated. So it isn't easy for them also, sometimes. You know, we said about liberty. I think you have a husband you can divorce, but the children you cannot divorce at all. So, and they are here. So sometimes they are here. They are my conscious also. It's just, I cannot do something or write something that also make harm on the children. So liberty, absolute liberty, I think I don't have it because I have love for the people around me. I don't care if I'm not so brave as I was because the other is more important than the reputation of being free or brave. So one day I put an article, and what was in Spanish said that I'm a not intellectual poet. I write about sex and what is about if sex is written in a beautiful way, so why not? So my children has wrote me, Mother, what you have done, my friends will where you on my mother. I said, took it off, took it off. I said, I took it. So I'm afraid of them more than more than Bashar al-Assad. I to you. I'm afraid not to make them harm.
Yeah.
I can affront Assad or others or dictature, etc. But children, it's hard. It's I feel like a mystico in front of them. So
I want to perhaps go to one of your poems, and I noticed some of them you title, and maybe you could, maybe I would need the actual book to understand, but some of them you have the word like sign 12 or signal 12.
I never put a title of my poetry. I wrote as if I wrote a big poems and cut it in small poems. So there is a book was in sign because it was written about poetry. With what means to me poetry, how I live poetry, and how I eat poetry, what is poetry for me. So it names sign, señales de cuerpo, and then in French has another title. It's by the fountain, by the spring of my mouth. So it is the sign that the poetry, how it comes, because it's like a sign, like something happened and you kept it. It is not translated into English, but in Spain and in Italian it has it. We have this book. If you want it in French also. The sign of poetry. The single or sign? Yeah, I don't know. Single, yes.
Single, yes. So.
It's just light here and light there. And
Is it okay if I read one of them?
Oh.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Let's see. Sign 12 for him. Eyes that see are not enough. Inhale the air. Look at it well, and then throw yourself away. Savor the word. Make it wet. Turn it over like a grain of grapes. Let it roll on your tongue. Put it under your teeth. Bring back all your memories, all fruit, flower, pain, jolly. Chew it up. Gargle yourself with. Swallow it down. Pleasure.
Yeah, it's because every time I go and people read poetry, they read it as if they read a newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
So it is somehow how to read poetry, how to test the word in your mouth, and how it is a kind of the way how to read poetry. But in meantime, it looks like this act of erotic between woman and man, when you have the mouth of the other man, or the man, and how you feel the other body
Mm-hmm.
in you.
Mm.
All the book is in this enigmatic between poetry and love, and this play of mirror between poetry and love, because it's almost like when you enter the poem as if you enter in the body of others, you know. It is a kind of making love to others when you read your poem, when you write it. It's something something. I think it is making
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
And I think it is maybe when I once read a novel. It was a woman in the car with a man, and they has passed all the night speaking. They don't do love at all. Only was speaking, and she said, "Isn't it love? This conversation. It is a kind of doing love, but it wasn't the war. The conversation also is making love." So for me, I think you know, I think when you are in love, you make love even when you have preparing your tea. This is a kind of sublimation of the of the normal things.
Do you think that's the same with all creative endeavors when you go deep inside yourself doing anything and you're present and you're in that moment and you're here? That is making love, like you said, it can be making a tea, it can be a conversation, a photograph, any piece of work which you really give yourself fully. Maybe it's not even by you, but it's coming through you.
I think in every act that I do, I have this feeling of giving myself. You know, never I I treat things halfway. You know, sometimes I receive letters of people and said, one woman said, "Thanks to this, the way that you look on us, this 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 tenderness that you drop, or you put on us when you look at us when we are writing." So I think it's my way of of doing of doing poetry out of reading, of writing. As I said all my life, I said poetry is not only not only poems. Poetry also life. It's also behavior. It's all how to smile, how to clean yourself, to say hello to others, to give them, to have them in your arms, and to buy food, to buy bread. It's every day. It's kind of written poems that maybe the people will not read it, but you do it.
Is there a and this might be a silly question, but is there a way that one should read a poem? Like
Now, I know that I read some so simple way. I don't need to do my arms. Sometimes I try because I love to eat the other rice. When I see somebody, people are we are animal who imitate. I read once that the baby cannot walk if he doesn't see his parents walking. So also we all the time we imitate our others. When we walk in the street, I find a girl who walk very nicely. So unconsciously, I try to imitate it. You look in the vitrine, you find a very nice clothes, you buy it. So we are imitate animal. We imitate everything around us. And poetry also, I think, when I give atelier d'écriture, I told them, just try to imitate. I give you this poem, try to do the same, but do it in your own. Change the name, change the accent, change the verb, change the subject. Try to have it in your own. Try to imitate in the beginning, and then you will have your own. But you have to start from something.
Yeah.
So it is. I think every day somebody learned me something, and I imitate the other when I find that what they have done is good, is nice. So I try to do it, and it's no harm to imitate the other. We are the reflect of others. Even we are unique, but we are the reflect. And I remember also what said to me, which is your preferred poet, and who influenced you in your poetry, who give you. I've said, no, I'm alone. And then I understand, you cannot be alone. You cannot write. It's only you. There's a lot of people who enter your mind, who enter your ears, who enter your eyes, and they are in you. Yeah. Maybe it's unconscious, but you are not alone. You are many, and those many write in you.
This is so true. Sometimes we think that we're just being totally unique, and at one point in my life, I was rebelling against my dad.
Yeah.
And then my sister said, but all of your ideas you've gotten from dad.
It's true. Yeah. So now I'm proud to be this woman who has who has this power to receive the other's talent. They give us, people give us maybe sometimes without knowing.
Yeah.
That's true. I enter the metro, I sit down, and women look at me, and suddenly she put red lips. and people and the same thing me when I see I try to people that they are a reflect of their mirror, and we need the mirror. Otherwise people neglected themselves. That's why people alone, they don't have any mirror, so don't care about themselves anymore, because there's nobody who looks at them.
And it can be also difficult when there is someone uh, reflecting yourself back to you, and you don't want to see the things that you're seeing because of,
That's
there's
true.
a lot of judgments and,
There's people who have a bad judgment. Yeah,
yeah,
it happens.
yeah.
Not often happening, but it's hard when you feel that people cannot sound it your real personality. They reflect their bad thought on you. It's hard, yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, but we cannot be loved by all people.
So we're about an hour and 40 minutes in.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Wow.
Is there anything that we didn't get a chance to talk about that you wanted to talk about?
There's a lot of things, the real conversation when the other are so delicate and without any effort, things has spring on you and go out from you without any effort. And you, both of you, give me such confidence that I just open my heart and myself to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There's a lot of things. I need another one.
Yeah.
Another hour. We will read poetry. We can read in both language, and it will be great.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
Well,
it would be fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And what I got from this podcast is your beauty and just your joy and love. And I admit, I feel a little envious because you like really just the dedication and the commitment that you have in your work towards thinking about others and not yourself, wholly. So you're, like you said, the expansion of, with every poem, you take some steps.
Yeah.
And while you're saying that, I'm like, I have a lot of work to do because I spend a lot of time thinking about myself and in my work, there's, so to be thinking about in that way in terms of the work that you do for women and as you express through your poetry and translating, helping other poets and, all the work that you do and just considering the, community, the whole, rather than just the self. And I imagine that can be a source of energy and inspiration in itself, that fuel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There was that amazing phrase which you said, which I will remember forever. When things happen to you, you open the door.
Oh my God!
And
I hope to see you again in real, and you are in my heart. Thank you so much. And it's hard to say bye-bye. I
Thank you.
Say goodbye.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
And you have I'll attach, because we're gonna put this on YouTube as well. So I'll put your
yeah.
And I'll put, if you like, we can put your social media. I think you have an Instagram.
Put also books. Books.
Okay, great.
Write Maram al-Masri books in English. You have 5 books in English.
Oh, great.
It would be nice that people can buy it also.
Yeah.
And I hope I hope that we meet again and we can have another conversation and
Yeah, me
people would
too.
be without
so.
any war, any war.
Thank you.
Thank you.